morning, gentlemen. I'm heading down to Oak Island, North Carolina. A little bit south of where I live. I've been there a few times. Had a couple jobs we did down on Oak Island. Actually, 3 jobs, I guess, technically. One of them was a Comfort Maker coastal unit. It was right on the beach. Another one was a couple Goodman units that the homeowner provided. We installed those. It'll be interesting to see as the years go by the difference between that coastal ICP unit that I supplied and the Goodman units that the homeowner supplied, because they're both on the beach. So I'm interested to see, because it's been about 1.5 years for both of these installs. So it'll be interesting to see how they look now. But what I want to talk about is touch on R32 one more time, because we had talked about R32 in a previous video, actually the last video, and we had talked about some of the advantages and disadvantages of it. And a lot of guys had never heard of R32, and a lot of guys had read about it and had known about it for quite a while. So there's a lot more as far as perspectives that came into play after the video was introduced. Now R32, to recap, is a refrigerant that runs at a similar pressure to R410A. It has a high discharge temperature. That was one of the concerns. R32 having a high discharge temperature means it puts the oil in jeopardy of breaking down, causing mechanical failure of the compressor. Now, I don't think we mentioned it last time, but I'll mention what Danfoss wrote on their website, which is that to control this issue, they were going to build a system that would inject some of the condensed liquid, subcooled condensed liquid, back into the compressor, scroll compressor, to cause the discharge temperature to drop. The theory was, I guess, that liquid was going to enter the compressor and then it would be vaporized before it caused a problem in the compressor. I'll let you guys kind of see what you think of that, respond to that. I don't know what kind of device they're going to use. I guess they're going to use some sort of pressure regulating or temperature sensing valve to send a certain amount of liquid back in the compressor based on how hot the discharge is. Sort of control discharge at a certain point. And I'm not quite sure how hot it could get on R32. Perhaps some of you guys could let me know. I think Owen Sampson over on the UK channel said that Daikin is making systems that have R32 in them. So maybe there's some more information out there as far as how high does that discharge temperature get. Moving on to, let's talk about heat pumps for a minute. If you have R32 in a heat pump and it's producing a high discharge temperature at a similar pressure to R410A, higher relatively to R410A, then what do you guys think about R32 being a great heating refrigerant? Since it has a higher discharge temperature, does that translate into it being a better heat pump refrigerant? Assuming you will still have to control the discharge temperature year-round, does that mean that R32 is better suited for that sort of thing? Can we get more heating efficiency out of R32 if it's going to run a higher discharge temperature at the same pressure, therefore at the same electrical draw? Something to think about. What do you guys think of that? R32, there are some advantages and disadvantages. Let's talk about something else that was brought up, which is the flammability of R32. The guys had said, confirmed, that R32 has a higher flammability rating than other refrigerants. R410A, all the other blends, they're blended together to reduce flammability. So if R32 has a high flammability, does that mean it's unsafe? Well, it's being used now, so obviously it can't be so unsafe that it's not used if Daikin is using it. And we have refrigerants like R290, which is propane, that has a higher flammability rating than R32, but is also used. We actually have YouTube videos. I think it was Awesome70 who used R290, if I'm not mistaken. So how dangerous is the flammability? What factor is it in running it? If people are using it, what does that mean? Does that mean if we run the compressor into a vacuum and the compressor arcs, that the system will explode? Just think about it. How much danger, there's ways that things are interpreted and things are presented, and there's ways that they really are. When someone says, is it flammable? What do you picture? A piece of wood or a gallon of gasoline? How dangerous is it? So let's reopen the discussion with some new information. What do you guys think of that? Because eventually R410A is going to go away and something will replace it. And most likely it'll be a compromise between what the EPA and the government want, depending on what kind of government you have and what country you are in, and efficiency. The only people that aren't going to have a say in this are guys like us. So we're going to be stuck with working with whatever it is. So let's start a discussion now